Hello amazing viewers and subscribers, welcome to a brand new exciting Doctor Who topic video for today. So for this video we are going to be covering the Master's timeline. So I was asked recently how many incarnations of the Master have there been, and the thing is, it's very timey-wimey when you look at the Master's complicated history in Doctor Who, because there have been incarnations of the actual character we haven't met yet, and of course we have met some of these incarnations. So the ones we met is basically the ones we met on screen, Big Finish, and of course in comics. So really for this video I'm literally going to try and blend in the TV, comics, and of course Big Finish into this video to try and make the Master's timeline a little bit less complicated. So hopefully it works, and let's get into it. So the first time we see the Master was of course in a flashback in season 39, aka in The Sounds of the Drums, where we see William Hughes playing the actual character when he looks into the unscape of the time vortex. The next time we see the Master, aka this very first incarnation of the Master, he has grown up to become a little bit of a teenager, played by Milo Parker in Masterful. So Milo Parker's only played the Master once, and that's of course in Masterful, in Big Finish, from what I can find on the internet. So I don't know what his performance is like, so don't ask me anything about that, because I don't know anything about these, because I've not long dived into Big Finish and I need to listen to Masterful. I do need to go and pick it up. And then of course we have the adult version of the first incarnation of the Master, played by James Dolphus. So this version of the Master met basically three versions of the Doctor. The first Doctor, aka David Bradley, then of course the second Doctor in Home Guard, and really the seventh Doctor in the Psychic Circus audio adventure. I haven't listened to any of these yet because they are very hard to try and track down. I think Home Guard might be the easy one, and of course Psychic Circus, where the first Doctor Adventures Volume 1 is a little bit more pricey. So as soon as I get them, I can tell you what I basically think on James Dolphus' incarnation of the Master. And then of course we miss his 2nd to 11th incarnation, so we don't see anything from the Master from his 2nd to 11th incarnations. So the next time we do see the Master is of course his 12th incarnation of the Master, played by Roger Delgado. Now Roger Delgado is a fantastic incarnation of the Master, and my second favourite incarnation of the Master. Roger Delgado, he just gives us that fantastic performance where he's evil, he can manipulate events. He goes, "You will obey me. I am the Master and you will obey me. You will obey me." So the Delgado Master has met 2 incarnations of the Doctor. So in TV wise, he met basically the 3rd incarnation of the Doctor. And in comic, he meets the 12th Doctor. And of course, after battling with the 12th Doctor, he does go on to regenerate into his 13th and final incarnation, aka the decaying Master. So the next time we see the Masters on screen is of course in his 30th incarnation, the decaying form, played by 2 actors, aka Peter Pratt and Geoffrey Beevers. Now Peter Pratt has only played the decaying Master once, and that's of course in The Deadly Assassin, where Geoffrey Beevers has played the Master for quite a few times, not only just in one TV story, but he has played the Master through Big Finish. And of course these stories do include battling against the 4th Doctor. He also battles against the 5th Doctor in And You Will Obey Me, and of course he also battles against the 7th Doctor in The Two Masters, and of course basically encountering all 8 incarnations of the Doctor in of course The Light at the End. Then of course, as we all know, during this time basically when the Master literally left Gallifrey in his Peter Pratt form, and basically Geoffrey Beevers taking over. So the adventures that we have in Big Finish are basically before we go to Traken. I like to class these as before he goes to Traken, where he literally re-meets the 4th Doctor and jumps into Tremas's body. But saying that, after Tremas's body does fail the Master, he does end up going back into his proper form, the decaying form. So he does jump body to body to body, and he does this like 3 more times after Tremas's body. But the Tremas's body, aka played by Anthony Ainley, he is my favourite incarnation because I just love Anthony Ainley. Anthony Ainley gives us such a great performance as the Master. Some people say, but he's very, very pantomime. That is, I think, is down to John Nathan Turner. I think that's how John Nathan Turner wanted the Master. But I still love Anthony Ainley's incarnation of the Master. His take is just absolutely brilliant and absolutely fantastic. And of course, Anthony Ainley was actually my third incarnation of the Master, and I kind of grew up watching the 80s just before I went back to watch the 70s with my dad and granddad. So I absolutely do like Anthony Ainley's incarnation of the Master. So as I said, the Master basically still jumps into body to body, and of course these do have 2 comic book variants, but I can't find the actual pictures unless they come in a massive picture with all the Master's timeline, which I have got here. But anyway, as of course the Master he does reflect back into his dying form after jumping to body to body to body, until basically he jumps into the Golden Temple incarnation of the Master from the TV movie. So this Master is on Skaro as basically trying to basically create peace between the Daleks and the Time Lords. So the Time Lords sacrifice the Master to the Daleks, and basically for all his evil crimes against them. But the Master is there on Skaro. He eats a metamorphic worm, and of course that worm installs the Master's evil essence, and part of the Master survives, which we see in the TV movie where he breaks out of the jar, basically containing what the Doctor thinks is his ashes, and he takes over Bruce's body, played by Eric Roberts. And of course he does go into the Eye of Harmony, but somehow he survives and has some great adventures on his own before he re-encounters the 8th Doctor. So during this time, he is literally plucked out of the time vortex somehow, and he has adventures on his own. Then, of course, he meets River Song, and, of course, the 8th Doctor. And then, of course, the next time we actually see the Master is basically the reborn version of the Master, played by the one and wonderful Alex McQueen. So Alex McQueen has played the Master through Big Finish, aka making his debut in Unit Demogorgon. I haven't listened to the audio, but I have just watched another sci-fi guy's review on it, and it sounds absolutely brilliant and amazing. And I do want to get it so I can actually listen to it and see what I think of it myself. Plus, Alex McQueen is my favourite Big Finish Master, considering I have got all of the Dark Eyes series, and of course I have got the 2 Masters. But the only story I haven't listened with Alex McQueen in is, of course, the Vampire of the Mind with the 6th Doctor. So Alex McQueen's Master does actually go on to encounter the 8th, 7th, 6th Doctors, which is actually brilliant when I think about it. And of course, he does return in the role for Masterful, where all incarnations of the Master all meet for the first time. I haven't listened to it, so I do need to dive into that and give it a good listen to. I think that might be interesting. So Alex McQueen's Master does regenerate into a child, aka the War Child incarnation of the Master, which does basically team up against the War Doctor, and of course fighting in the Time War with the War Doctor until basically the Master regenerates into his next incarnation, aka the War incarnation of the Master, aka his in 8th place. So I've got it in 8th place, but it's technically a little bit later on in his timeline. So the War Master is played by Jarek Jacobi, who also played the Master on screen for literally like 5 minutes. So the Big Finish has gone back and expanded on Jacobi's Master, making him the War incarnation of Master that basically encounters the 8th, and of course later on the 10th Doctor, when basically the Master is being put on trial and he sends a beacon out to try and capture the Doctor to go and rescue him, but he ends up getting a future Doctor, not the Doctor he was expecting. And of course that Doctor from the future is of course the 10th Doctor, played by David Tennant. I haven't listened to it, but I have listened to a few clips on YouTube, and it does sound absolutely amazing. So I do need to carry on listening to the War Master series, because I only do have one War Master series, which is Anti-Genesis, with the War Master meeting an unbound version of the Master played by Mark Gatiss. Now, I haven't listened to anything with Mark Gatiss in yet. I haven't really listened to the War Master yet, but I'm dying to, and it is on the list because I've got quite a few Big Finishes that I need to listen to. So Jarek Jacobi's War Master does end up being shot by Chanvo, and of course he regenerates into his next incarnation, otherwise known as the Saxon Master, John Sim. Now, John Sim's Master has only had 3 appearances in the lore of Doctor Who, aka in the Master Trilogy with Utopia at the end of where he regenerates, Sandodrom's Last of the Time Lords, and of course the End of Time Part 1 and 2, before he makes a return and basically meets up with his future incarnation played by Michelle Gormas, aka with the Cybermen. after the Master basically tried to rule the entire city. They revolted against him. They become stubborn, and then of course he's there with the creation of the Cybermen, aka Genesis of the Cybermen, where he encounters the 12th Doctor. But during that time of the John Sims Master, he does go back to Gallifrey, have his little condition fixed, and of course he does go off and have more adventures. And I haven't listened to Spyfall, but I know he's in Spyfall. So the Masterfall, sorry, and I haven't listened to Masterfall, but I know I need to. I really do need to listen, track that down and listen to it. So the Saxon Master has a bit of a good lifespan until he basically gets stabbed by his future incarnation, played by Michelle Gormas. But this Master was basically the second Master to team up with the Cybermen. With the very first incarnation of the Master was the Tremus Master, aka the Master's 13th incarnation, because he stepped into Tremus's body in his decaying form. So, and of course he did team up with the Cybermen to betray them in the 5 Doctors. So basically John Sims Master is the first main actually incarnation of the Master to team up with the Cybermen, until the Doctor basically made them change the heartbeat of the rhythm, so from 1 heartbeat to a 2 heartbeat. And of course he pulls out his sonic laser and he goes, "These Cybermen are primitive." Yeah, I actually really do enjoy John Sims Master with Michelle Gormas, because it has got some great chemistry. And then of course next we have the Michelle Gormas' version of the Master. The Master we see from season 34 all the way down to season 36, aka Missy. Now Missy has had quite a little bit of a lifespan through Big Finish, considering that we only meet her in season 34, season 35 and season 36 with Peter Capaldi. She does go into Big Finish and have her own adventures, basically meeting with the meddling monk and of course River Song. It is unknown how Missy does regenerate after basically the Master killed her with the sonic laser and gave her the full blast so she couldn't regenerate. So is this technically the end of the Master? Well, not really, because we do see the next Master and he's played by Sacha Dhawan. And of course Sacha Dhawan, people say, oh, he's before Michelle Gormas, but I don't have to look at it, because in a comic he actually says to the 13th Doctor that really when he regenerated from the female version that the Doctor technically brainwashed, he went back to Gallifrey to try and find himself. And of course that's where we find out about the whole Timeless Child arc and basically got on a rampage. So I do think Sacha Dhawan's Master is after Missy. And of course basically this version of the Master is getting his own adventures in Big Finish, so his story hasn't ended. But basically Sacha Dhawan's Master was of course the Spy Master. Then of course basically he killed Gallifrey in a mad rage, and basically he tried to kill the Doctor by stealing the Doctor's regenerations and the Doctor's body, and basically wearing different random Doctors until basically the 13th Doctor, with the help of Yaz and Venda and of course a holographic of the fugitive Doctor, ended up getting her body back and becoming back. So really the Master was back into his old body, which is dying because he teamed up with the Siberian, which basically you can see it's killing the Master in the power of the Doctor. So that is basically the Master's timeline. Hopefully it's not too complicated and really it helps you all to understand the Master's complete timeline. So for me as a Doctor Who fan, it is very, very confusing. The fact I haven't read all of the I haven't listened to all the Big Finish and I haven't really read all the comics. So I am still trying to track the Master, like comics and stuff. But yeah, this is technically the Master's timeline. Everything I've managed to find through research. So let me know in the comments, who is your favourite incarnation of the Master? Because my favourite version of the Master is Anthony Ainley, because he's just absolutely cracking as the Master. Again, thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe and share, and join me for more awesome Doctor Who content.